Thank you, brothers and sisters, to all of our distinguished guests, our friends, and everybody who's gathered with us here today. Robert's right, we still see the blue coming up the mall. We see them marching down from Union Station. This is truly the Transportation Day of Action. And welcome. It's a day of protest, brothers and sisters, to unequivocally say to the President of the United States, enough is enough. You're going to hear from impressive speakers that are our brothers and sisters and share the world and the work that we do. Never in the long history of this nation have we ever had a president who has failed us so miserably. We all know who the greatest presidents were: Abraham Lincoln, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, George Washington, and Thomas Jefferson. Monuments to their greatness stand proudly at the other end of this mall. But who were the worst presidents? Well, the historians tell us, and a group of scholars ranked them, all 42 past presidents, and they gave pretty darn good reasons how bad some of them really were. The bottom 5 lists contain some pretty sad excuses for Commander-in-Chief. Here's the worst. At number 38, William Henry Harrison had the longest inaugural address, delivered in freezing weather, the shortest administration lasting 31 days. He died of pneumonia. Number 39, Andrew Johnson, blocked Reconstruction after the Civil War, vetoed civil rights legislation, and barely survived impeachment. At number 40, we have Franklin Pierce, failed to avert the Civil War, watched helplessly as the Union pulled apart at the seams, and he died from alcoholism. At number 41, we have James Buchanan, failed to act during the succession crisis in 1860, leaving it all to his successor, played a role in the infamous Dred Scott decision, and was prone to depression. At number 42, we have Warren Harding, a corrupt and short administration, best known for the Teapot Dome scandal, another oil scandal. Harding said, "I am not fit for this office and should never have been here." So true and so sad. So look around, brothers and sisters. Do you see any monuments on this mall to Johnson, Harrison, Pierce, Buchanan, or Harding? Of course not. Abject, utter failures are not heroic figures in American history. They're pissants. These are men of insignificant stature, Webster's definition. These 5 men are pathetic political hacks who took the greatest gift a free people could give anyone, the presidency of the United States, and each one wasted it. They shrank in fear and trembling from doing the right thing at the right time, for the right reasons, for the people who elected them. But for all their faults and failures, Presidents Andrew Johnson, Benjamin Harrison, Franklin Pierce, James Buchanan, and Warren Harding stand like the Colossus of Rhodes compared to number 43. George W. Bush has to crane his neck back to see the worst of the worst. And from his subterranean vantage point, Bush can only look up to the likes of Harding, Buchanan, Pierce, Harrison, and Johnson. Number 43's remarkable record of failure, scandal, and corruption will bring him the place in history he justly deserves. From the beginning, he made working people and union members special targets. Airline executives were given free pass to shred contracts, to dissolve pensions, to eliminate health care for a generation of workers. Railroad workers were held hostage to old contracts for years while executives raked in millions in profits. Entire towns were reduced to economic rubble as companies moved away in the name of free trade. If this president could figure out a way to take candy from babies, he would in a minute. And he would claim it all, brothers and sisters, in the name of national security. This is a president who never shied away from the low road, the cheap shot, or the big lie. Even before his administration called union leaders terrorists, we knew where we stood with this president. Even before he threatened to use National Guard troops to prevent strikes, we knew where we stood with this president. For 7 long years, every federal agency, every function of government at his disposal has been turned against us. And while we survive the onslaught against all odds, it has not been without a cost. The millions of lost jobs, the millions of shattered dreams, is the legacy of abysmal failure that will follow this president through the annals of history. Yes, historians will judge this presidency harshly. Brothers and sisters, we cannot await the judgment of history. Today, we can let this commander incompetent know how we really feel. Today, we have a chance to say over and over again, enough is enough.